What's up? Welcome to another episode of Black Diamond Sports Podcast. This is Wednesday and shows. Tonight we have Coach Craig Mulligan. We're going to get him on here in a little bit, tell us a little bit about himself. And um, tonight's interview will be a little bit different as opposed to some of the interviews we usually do with some of our athletes and clients. We usually ask, have a nice little Q&A. This will still be in a Q&A. This will still be a Q&A, by the way. This will just be a little bit differently. We'll have, we have coaches and administrative. It tends to be a little bit differently. We'll go on leadership qualities and stuff like that. We'll have a little fun. Coach Craig, seems like from the conversation we had with him, this will be pretty updated. So I'm pretty excited about this podcast tonight. He should be on here in a minute. Hopefully everyone's probably taking the break from watching some good football games today. I know I did. There were some quality games on. Anywho, hope everybody's doing well. Still being COVID, keeping COVID in mind and being safe out there. So yeah, with that, hopefully, give me a second here. We'll bring on Coach Craig Mulligan.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you there, Coach. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you? Is my camera not on? No, it's not. There we go.
Yeah. How's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty good. I just got done with some homework before this, so it's a nice little break. I get to talk instead of read.
Well, good. I'm glad. Thank you for taking the time out to, from your homework and your school to interview with us. I appreciate it. We're not going to take much of your time. Just want to get a quick Q&A and get to know you a little bit. I know you're one of the new guys on the block here, so people who don't know you, so that's why I wanted to do this interview right away, and that way people know who you are. I got to read some of your stuff online and check you out a little bit. Firstly, I know that you served for this country in the Army, so thank you for your services. I appreciate that. My family, a lot of the men in my family served in the Army, so that's a nice little connection there. So again, thank you for your service.
I thank you for giving me something worth serving. So it's service definitely gave me a little different of a perspective. So I can appreciate things a little more. It helps.
Cool. Yeah, you'll be like you're my third coach on this podcast. So I'm always excited to get a different change of direction when we have our interviews. Most of the time with the guys, it's just straightforward, some serious questions, and then it's just fun questions after that. So to start off, basically, just a recap of basically your resume, your journey to being a coach. If you don't mind sharing with us, please.
Yeah. So I started out as a football player, not a great one by any stretch of the imagination. But it was when I was in the service in Iraq. They had a weekly flag football game that they held on base, and when I wasn't on mission and outside the wire in the city doing my job, I was able to play, and it gave me something to look forward to. It definitely gave me something to occupy my time. It helped keep me sane. Definitely, amidst fighting in the war. And it kind of became like a mecca for me in some respects. Uh, I felt stable. I felt secure when I was on the field, and I knew that when I came back home, I just wanted to have that for a little longer and dive deeper into that. So I played a little JUCO ball up north. I played a little bit for the Tacoma Cobras, and by play I mean sit on the bench. Watched had a great quarterback ahead of me, man. His name was Adam Cruz, and that guy he was a legit he was a dude, as we say. He was definitely a dude. I got to learn a lot from him, and eventually it got to the point where they cut me, and then they turned around and said, "Well, what would you think about coming on as a coach?" And that's kind of how I got my feet wet coaching early on. From there, I went back to my old JUCO, and I got to be up in the box as a third down analyst, for them. After that, I moved home after the service, and I started coaching high school football while working. I eventually realized that with athletes, and especially student athletes, was something that I really wanted to do. So I dived into teaching credential. I'm in the middle of that now. I got about 2 semesters left, and I'll be done. And yeah, the journey has been fun. From coaching where I played to coaching at the college level, and now coming back to the high school level. It's taught me a lot about myself as a coach, and who I want to be. Definitely going forward.
Nice. Now, so I know you said you played a little bit as far in the Army ranks, and then you had but you've also served under leadership. So that's where I'm going to gear this to. As far as being the head guy, what are some of the good qualities you see in players as far as leadership skills or leadership qualities that you look for in guys to make captains or be in head of defense or head of offense? What are some of the things you look forward to?
So I personally ascribe to, a warrior-like mentality. I definitely bring that with me. I served in the infantry, so, I was a door kicker, and I definitely bring that mentality with me. I think, back in the day they called, a lunch pail mentality, blue-collar mentality. I definitely think that, my take on that comes with a little bit of bad intentions, and I definitely embody that, at practice, on the field, and coaching-wise. I really feel that when you look at captains, when you look at leaders of the team, what you really need to be able to find are people that know how to talk to the people around them. So they got to have these social emotional skills that are really so important. Not everyone has them. And when you talk about a leadership and a person in a leader position, what we're really talking about is somebody that can inspire others to become who they need to be for the whole to become successful. If you don't know how to talk to people, if you don't know how to interact in a healthy way that is compassionate and also passionate, you struggle really to connect. And I think when that is a top-down thing, we start to think that sometimes teams have culture issues. So I really look for captains that will take my culture, make it their own, and further that culture throughout the rest of the team.
Nice. So in one of the interviews I actually actually read about you, I told you I do my homework here. I saw that you do something that I wish more coaches would do. I know some do. You test
Yes.
your guys, and I believe that's really, really important. I thought that was very impressive when I read that. Football IQ is huge, and even if they have just a little bit when they first get there, I like the fact that you test them even afterwards to see how much they retain. What brought that on? Why did you incorporate that so much?
I firmly believe, that football is a physical game. But I also believe that football is a strategic and tactical game. The football field is a battlefield in the sense that, in the military, we establish blocking positions for XYZ operations, and we also have limit of advances. And defense, we call it setting the edge. And when you look at football, the tactics used, the way that football manipulates time and space in reference to, formation and down and distance, what you're really looking at is it's a war game. And when I look at what I want my football players to be able to do, it's to always stay calm. It's never to lose focus. It's always to have your job in mind. And your ears are listening to everything around you, but your cognition, your eyes, your eye discipline is focused on what your assignment is. What's the intention? What's the end goal? How do we achieve our objectives so that the overall mission is also achieved? I call it being a duck on the water. Underneath the surface, you can go 100 miles an hour,
Right.
but on top, it's got to be calm. That's something I brought with me from the military. Definitely, we give classes to teach ourselves. The military definitely believes the best way to learn is to teach. And so I definitely encourage my captains to actively quiz their teammates, actively give their own classes and their own Zooms, during position coach times. I find that when you can generate understanding of scheme and technique within our system, what you do is you create less thinking during the game so that they can actually play faster.
Nice.
Yeah, we do it in the classroom all the time. You talk about sight words, math facts, rapid fire, memory recall. And in athletics, we call it muscle memory. Well, I want to focus, on the cognitive aspects of that as well with football.
Nice. I mean, that's a great philosophy. Like I said, I wish more coaches would use that. Um, you know, the other thing was when you going back to the first other question that I had when we were talking about the leadership. That same approach, is that the same philosophy you have when you go recruit a guy or you're looking at a guy on film? Do you look for those things? There's some things you can look on film and say, okay, this guy carries himself a little differently. Are those the same kind of attributes you look for in a guy that you're recruiting?
Absolutely. So I look at film in two different ways when I'm recruiting, and film's always the first thing. And for me, at least at the level I coached before, with the Tacoma Sabres, grades weren't as important because I was coaching grown men that were ready to take the next step to the CFL, NFL, AFL, or what have you. So when I'm looking at recruiting, I'm looking at film in two different ways. One, 30-second blurb. Do you catch my attention? And if you do, then I'm going to go back to the game film. I'm going to look for a reason to not like you. I definitely grade two ways, one to the positive, one to the negative. I want to see how a player is coached. I want to see what their habits are. I definitely take a look at what they're doing on the sideline if I can see them easily, if I can find them easily. I'll look at the sideline. What are they doing when they're not actively on the field and engaged? Are they by their coach? Are they not? When I coached over at Reedley College, for a couple of months interning for them, I was helping pretty heavily on their recruiting spectrum of their team. One of the things I did was I definitely talked to the people in the student athlete's life that maybe didn't have a vested interest in what they did on the field, because I wanted to find out who exactly are we bringing into our locker room. Is he going to make our team culturally better? And then obviously when you grade film, yeah, there's a lot that goes into that. But I definitely want to grade from a character first approach when we talk about recruiting, because I believe that as a coach, you should be able to teach anybody to do anything. So I'm definitely not against bringing on somebody that has the potential but is raw. It's a passion of mine. If you're a coach, you coach to develop. And if you don't, then you're just inheriting someone else's success.
No. I mean, that's a great philosophy. I mean, and as, like you said, a coach should be able to coach anyone. I believe that too, that as far as when you get guys in, you want guys that are going to be able to get along and come to the locker room and be able to be that guy. All the talent in the world is not everything if a guy just can't be coachable. And that's a shame, because I've seen guys like that. All the talent in the world, but you just can't coach them. So that's kind of cool that you take that approach and you already sum it up before they even get there.
Yeah, I'm very blunt and honest. I let them know exactly what it is. I let them know what the team's like, what I expect of them. the onus on your players. The motivation, the thumb, to nails to the grindstone should never come from the coach. The coach should exemplify and be the embodiment of that attitude. And if you've gathered the right people through recruiting, they're going to look to you to what to do and then emulate it in return. And that's how we just feed the fire, and we make it part of the process as opposed to part of our development.
Nice. So all right. So take away the coaching aspect. Take away that you're in school. You're a student right now. What do you do for fun? Like what are some of the things you like to do?
I read. I do read a lot when I have time. Haven't had too much time lately. I definitely enjoy spending time, with my family. I'm pretty much a homebody, so as much work as I can do at home, I try to do at home. Whether it's, watching film or what have you, I find that when you can intertwine peacefully work with family life, that sometimes work is a little easier to manage in terms of time. Other things, I like going to the beach. Honestly, that's my getaway. Out here, Santa Cruz, California.
Nice.
It was a favorite mainstay of my family during summer vacations, and whenever I kind of need a break, I try to make it out that way when I can.
Nice.
I'm pretty intense on the football field, so when I have a chance to step off, I like to not be quite so much.
Yeah. So speaking of intense, actually, I saw one of your pictures, one of your profile pictures, and I was like, whoa. You look pretty intense in that one picture. I was like, man, you look pretty. Yeah, I was like, okay, definitely an intense guy. I got that right away when I saw the picture.
Yeah, I guess I can just chalk that up to the magic of the photographer. He gave me directions and I followed. So.
Got you. So, are any coaches past or present right now that you maybe you follow? I mean, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, I got athletes, and I always ask that question to the guys that come on, like any guys they watch or any guys that inspire them. Any coaches that inspire you, or any coaches that you watch now that you like?
Yeah, one of the coaches that I've always had a healthy amount of respect for is John Gruden. I was a fan of what he was able to do, how he was able to turn the negative connotations of a trade, way back in the day, into really a positive. And I believe that he showcased his ability to really lead a staff and to put together, a really good product on a short month's notice. And I feel that he's on his way to doing that now with COVID. And one of the comments that I made talking to some of my coaching buddies is what COVID's really going to do, I believe, for football at all levels is highlight who the most adaptable and versatile coaches are. And by extension, who's going to give you the most consistent outcome in terms of team on a week-to-week basis. And I think that's something that we see shaping out. So it's really kind of eye-opening for me, and I really enjoy the transition of a lot of football knowledge, from our playbooks and what we do, and how it's really expanded into online version now. Everywhere you look, there's great coaches doing awesome seminars, and if you're a football junkie, this is like having the answers to the test a couple years before you even take it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, actually, what's funny is you bring up Gruden, and the one thing I always liked about Gruden is he does that QB camp, and it's live, and he sits with the quarterback, and that's another way he tests to see their IQ. And I thought that was pretty genius. That some of these guys are thinking it's just an interview, and then he's like, boom, he hits them with the, all right, we're going to do a QB thing here, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I love that aspect that he's not afraid to call out, and he has some of the top quarterbacks on the show, so. And he calls them right out, like, okay, let's look at these plays. And then
one of my favorites he did was with Andrew Luck when he was coming out of Stanford, and they broke down the spider 2-wide banana concept that Harbaugh ran at Stanford back then. And I mean, I watch all those. I take notes, and if I don't know it, I research it. And I spend my time hunting down little nuggets of knowledge everywhere I go.
I hear that. I mean, and that's the other thing too about coaches people don't really put into perspective is, I coached for 14 years just at high school, and the 2 years of semi-pro, but we're learning just as the players are. We're coaching ourselves. Okay, there you are. I lost you there for a second. There we go. Did you catch what I just said there?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. A lot of times we find ourselves coaching and teaching ourselves, and I think that's very true. I think that when somebody has forgotten how to become a student, we call that arrogance. And I definitely think that that's, something that anybody who is in a competitive industry should stay away from.
Cool. That's really cool. How about any teams? Any football teams you're following right now?
I follow the My Niners. Definitely follow my Niners. They're my favorite. I'm actually scheduled to attend a career seminar with them, and I'm super excited about that. It's not in coaching, but it's definitely a part of the sales marketing, and it's a chance for me to kind of ask questions and really see how a team at the top is ran. I'm a firm believer in absorbing all the knowledge that you can, so that's an opportunity I'm going to take full-fledged advantage of. As far as that goes, I really follow pretty much any coaching changes. I tend to stick more to how coaches do once they transition. So Mike McCarthy going from Green Bay to Dallas has been something that I've really paid close attention to. Definitely when Shanahan came to the Niners, from his previous team, I was very keen. That's something that's always interested me because I really am curious as to, one, how coaches, how much they actually bring from the previous system they ran to the new system, and does what they have on the roster really play an impact in that? One of the best case studies, I think, is Alex Smith with the Niners. 7 years, 7 different OCs, multiple different head coaches, roster turnover. Him and Vernon Davis were kind of there for a lot of it. And then you look at what Jim Harbaugh was able to do, with very little turnaround in terms of roster and what their core guys were as to what the other coaches before him were able to do. I find discrepancies like that interesting, and I like to analyze, how they actually got the success that they were able to achieve.
Nice. Yeah, you actually had a good game today. I was impressed. I actually rooted against. I had the Patriots winning that game, and man, wasn't even close. Wasn't even close.
Yeah, it's always tough when you lose the leader of your team. It's how do you replace the productivity and the versatility that Tom Brady afforded you? He's the kind of quarterback where you make a couple mistakes on defense and you still have a chance to come back. I remember he led 2 touchdown drives with 1:10 left, like 6-7 years ago, to win a game.
Yeah.
You lose that, and your breathing room gets a lot smaller.
Yep.
Games can get away from you a lot faster.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Tom Brady because for so many years it got hard for defending the fact that I think that he's a great quarterback. Everyone's like, oh, he's a system quarterback. He's a system quarterback. Well, I'm like, well, he's down in Buccaneers now. What do you call that? I mean, the guy's got 6 rings, and he now is. Well, they're like, well, look at his talent. I'm like, you guys always, they're always going to find an excuse when someone's sitting and makes it look easy because he does.
I don't know that you can deny that what Tom Brady has done has worked, regardless of whether you think he's a product of the system or, he's a product of his talent. If it was a talent issue, I definitely think he would have gone higher in the draft.
Yep.
If he had an undeniable talent, he would have been higher in the draft. But what people fail to recognize and see is the power of his mind and his ability to process information as it happens in real time. A lot of times we talk about talent, we talk about the tangibles and physicality, and when we talk about, what a quarterback can do, you say, oh, he's got great vision, or, oh, he's got a live arm or a strong arm. I think that a lot of people simplify the quarterback position because it's really tough to break down in a way that you would say a running back or a linebacker or even a receiver. And I think that's reflected in, what you were just talking about. People don't understand really how deep the ocean goes.
Right.
And if you want to talk about, a quarterback to lead your team, above all else, there's a very small handful of quarterbacks that I think would be unanimous, and Tom Brady's one of them.
For sure, for sure. Right before we get off here, I actually have one more question for you. It's a fun question. Um, if they were going to do a movie about Craig Mulligan, Coach Craig Mulligan, who would play you?
Oh man, it would have to be somebody tough and patient, because all in all, aside from football, like my life's pretty boring. They, it would have to be filmed like a documentary news style stuff. I really don't have a life. I go study for school. I focus on football, and I spend time with my family. And there's very little that I do outside of that. So if I had to pick someone and I wanted people to actually watch it, I would probably say somebody like Will Ferrell.
Oh,
I think he could bring that facetious style of serious comedy that he's brought to other roles, and I'm always a fan of self-depreciating humor. I think it's a good sign of humility.
that's good. I've never heard Will Ferrell as the answer, but hey, that's a good one. That's different, but I get it. It's good. I like that. Before we sign off here, actually, the last thing I usually leave, it's open floor. I basically, ask you, what's coming up for the next few months for you. I know you're working on school, but as far as football, like what's up, what's in the upcoming future. So I mean, there's basically the floor is yours. Take it away, and just give people a rundown of what you got coming up.
Awesome. So one of the awesome things that you might be aware of is the Black Diamond Showcase that's coming up. I think the third week of March of this upcoming year. So I'm really excited about that. It's going to be a good chance for me to really kind of show the world the type of leader that Black Diamond signs to its agency and its label. I definitely think that hand in hand, me and Black Diamond are going to make a great partnership, and we're going to bring a benefit to a lucky team. And I'm super excited to be able to be a part of that process. Beyond that, for myself, I'm actually going to be starting some Zoom sessions here for some kids from the Fresno County Unified School District. I'm going to be kind of giving them as much of a good football education as I can. With me entering the last year of grad school and trying to get student teaching hours, a lot of my coaching positions right now are strictly volunteer based. Being in Fresno County, there's one college here, that's Fresno State, and they got their guys, and so really for me, it's self development, it's progress, it's benefiting my local community. I know I got a few pokers in the fire with some local high schools, some arena teams, and I'm just kind of shaking those trees and waiting to see what falls out. Until then, it's just constant grind, sharpening my swords, and staying ready.
Nice, nice. Well, I mean, good luck with all that. I mean, that's very admirable and a positive outlook that you're going to give back to the community. That's something that I know Brandy loves to brag about. She's already talked highly of you, and now I see why. Now, personally, that I've getting a chance to talk to you. You got a lot of fans there at Black Diamond, so wishing you all the best. And the next time I probably will talk to you, I will be doing a live feed at the symposium. I will be there. So I can't wait to meet you. Now that I've gotten a chance to talk to you, I'm actually pretty excited to meet you in person, and we'll actually do some live interviews there. So I'm definitely going to put you on there if you have the time, of course, to interview and go from there.
I'm super excited. I really feel this showcase is going to be great, and there's a lot of hardworking athletes that are going to be a part of that. I know some of them personally, so I'm excited. The future is bright.
Yeah, same here. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to it. One thing that I put on 2021 amidst all this COVID stuff is that I put that up there and I circled it a few times. So yeah, that's big on my calendar for to start the year off. I can't wait. I can't wait to meet everybody. I can't wait to to be that element again is going to be awesome. I can't wait. So yeah, I look forward to meeting you in person. I look forward to doing that whole bit out there. And again, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on and talk to us and give the listeners a chance to know who you are a little bit. I know there's more to you, but we got a good bit of information in there. So yeah, I mean, I'm wishing you still the best of luck and look forward to talking to you soon. And I'll be in touch now that I have your contact information. I'll throw in a little hey there every now and then.
Yes, sir. I look forward to it. Thank you again, for letting me come on. I really do appreciate it. This has been very nice.
Yeah, no problem. And again, wish you the best, and I'll be in contact soon.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
All right. That was my man, Coach Craig Mulligan. I was wondering when you get coaches on here, how the dynamic's going to be, and so far we've gotten some good quality coaches on this staff that we've brought on as clients and made partnerships with them. This again is another example of a quality guy. Love his philosophies on coaching, dynamic he uses. So this is a win-win for both of us, I believe. I'm looking forward to meeting him in March at the Black Diamond Symposium. So with that, we're going to take a break.